Hey, how you going? And welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. And today we're going to talk about data and the fact that right now there's a huge commercialization of scientific data. So what do I mean by that? You can see all these ads out there about hotspots. You can see all these ads about the suburbs that will bounce the most when rates do drop. And a lot of the data also these days are AI generated, which pulls obviously from different sources, and that does give quite a bit of credibility and quite a bit of information about various areas, various suburbs, various trends, but it doesn't take into account the contextual bias of the data, in the sense that it does not take into account what really is happening on the ground with that suburb, with that area, to then give a semblance of sanity in terms of the data that is being produced. I'm a big believer of data, but I am also equally a really big believer of having on the ground truth to then correlate the data. And as we get into this era, particularly also as we're barreling into the end of the financial year, as we get into this era of looking at more AI generated content and more buyers agents and property providers that are jumping onto Facebook and jumping onto TikTok and giving these clickbaitable headlines to reel people in, it's important to understand that with more information comes more insecurity in terms of the data itself, as to where it's been derived from and how we have been able to generate the data unless we are actually correlating it with what's happening on the ground. So as we do invest, and as we do plan to invest, and as we plan to digress and diversify our portfolio by going back to a lot of these properties that we've bought where we're now taking into account its development capability, it's important to keep in mind that these data points, whilst they could be a guiding beacon, should not be the absolute in terms of your decision-making process. An example of this would be in the NDIS space. So for those that don't know, NDIS is where you've got disability homes, where it's specifically made for people with disability and their various levels. When you look at the data itself, it shows that the market is saturated in Victoria, and it also shows that market is saturated in Queensland. But at the same time, I've built properties there for disability and have been able to obviously get them tenanted fairly easily. So there's a mismatch, right, as to what we're providing and what the data is actually getting together, and that's the important bit that I'm trying to give across. So that's your Wednesday wisdom. Don't believe everything the data tells you. Make sure you correlate it with on-ground truth. And I hope you have an awesome week.